Hi everyone, welcome back to Deep Dive Daily. Today, we're diving deep into the absolutely insane science of making the permanent, well, not so permanent.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a massive number, 25 million. That is how many people in the US alone have what you'd call tattoo regret. We're talking 1 in every 4 people with ink. So look, if you've ever stared at a tattoo and thought, what on earth was I thinking? You are in very, very good company. And that's exactly why today we're going to break down the incredible science of how we erase something that's supposed to last forever. We're going to look at why tattoos stick around in the first place, how this kind of mind-blowing laser tech actually works, and what is really going on inside your skin during this whole wild process.
All right, so first things first. Before we could even talk about getting rid of a tattoo, we have to get our heads around why they're meant to be permanent. And it all comes down to this epic battle happening right inside your own body.
I absolutely love this way of looking at it because it nails what's happening on a microscopic level. So when a tattoo needle pushes ink deep into your skin, your immune system basically freaks out. It sees all this ink as a foreign invader. But here's the problem. To your tiny little immune cells, those ink particles are like mountains. They're just way, way too big to get rid of.
So what's your body to do? Well, if you can't beat them, trap them. Your immune cells literally swarm the ink particles and build a little cage around them. This is the prison of flesh that locks your tattoo in place. And get this, when one of those little cell prison guards dies, a new one just steps right up to take its place, keeping that ink locked down for years and years and years. That is the secret to why tattoos are forever.
So, if the ink is trapped in this biological prison, how do we break it out? This is where our high-tech hero enters the story, the laser. It's the only key that can finally unlock that prison of flesh. But it's not just any laser beam. The key here, and it's absolutely crucial, is that you have to match the color of the laser light to the color of the ink. It's all about light absorption, right? Think about it. Red ink reflects red light, but it soaks up green light. So you blast it with a green laser. Black ink is the easiest of all because it absorbs pretty much every color of light you can throw at it.
Here is a brilliant way to picture this whole thing. Imagine your skin is like clear jelly, okay? And your tattoo ink particles are like little crumbs of toast suspended inside it. The laser is like a flashlight that shines right through the clear jelly, your skin, but it gets totally absorbed by the dark crumbs of toast, your ink. This lets the laser superheat the ink without just, torching the skin around it.
And this is how we avoid getting a horrible burn. Instead of a steady beam, the laser fires this incredibly, mind-bogglingly short pulse of energy. We're talking a few trillionths of a second. It is so fast that the heat has no time to spread. It's just an instant, targeted blast that hits the ink and vanishes before the surrounding skin even registers what happened.
Okay, you gotta get ready because this is probably the most intense part of the entire process. We're gonna slow down time to a billionth of a second, a nanosecond, to see the absolute chaos that goes down when that pulse of light makes contact.
Let's walk through this. In the very first nanosecond, the ink particles soak up all that laser energy and instantly heat up to a searing 600 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to make iron glow. A nanosecond later, the ink particles just can't take it anymore. They violently fracture and explode. Those mountains are shattered into pebbles and dust. Then, that intense heat vaporizes the water in your skin cells, creating a powerful shock wave. It's a literal microscopic explosion under your skin.
Back in the real world, you actually experience this nanosecond explosion as a few very specific things. A super sharp pain, a smell of burnt hair, and a loud, audible cracking sound. You also see this wild thing called frosting, where the skin instantly turns white. That's literally the hot gas bubbles from that vaporized water expanding right under the surface. How crazy is that?
So the laser has done its destructive job. The ink mountains have been shattered, but the work is not over, not even close. Now we need a cleanup crew. And this is where your immune system, which started this whole thing as a prison guard, gets a brand new heroic role to play.
That whole area is now basically an internal burn wound, and your body sends in the emergency services. We're talking hundreds of thousands of immune cells, these little guys called macrophages that rush to the site. Their job? Clean up all the debris, the shattered ink particles and the leftover bits of damaged cells. And this right here brings us to the big question, why does it take so many sessions? Well, because even after being shattered, about 75% of the ink particles are still too big for your immune cells to haul away. So what do? They trap them all over again to protect you.
Only the tiniest 25% of the ink dust actually gets eaten up and carried off to your lymph nodes to be flushed out of your system. So every single session is just chipping away at that mountain, bit by tiny bit.
So after the treatment, your body really gets to work. That white frosting fades, and you get redness and swelling, kind of like a nasty sunburn. You might even get some blisters. Then comes the itching. And I know it's super annoying, but that itching is a direct sign that your immune system is working hard to heal you. Eventually, new healthy skin forms. And then, after a few weeks, you're ready to go back and chip away at that mountain all over again.
So after all those sessions, all that pain, all that healing, what's the end result? Let's talk about the reality of making that ink truly, finally fade away. Yeah, it's really important to know that a complete 100% perfect removal isn't always guaranteed. Success depends on a whole bunch of factors: the tattoo size, its colors, how deep the ink is, and even just how strong your own immune system is. And that's why it usually takes anywhere from 5 to 12 sessions, spread out over months or even years, to get the best possible result.
It's just such a fascinating process, right? A combination of brute force physics and our body's amazing ability to heal. It really makes you stop and think. With technology like this, is anything we do truly permanent anymore? Hit that like button if you enjoyed this, share it around, and subscribe for more. Drop a comment below with your views. See you tomorrow at the same